All right, let's get right into it. In coaching, what separates a decent session from a truly game-changing one? It really just boils down to one thing: the quality of the questions you ask. A great question isn't just a tool, it's the master key that can unlock everything for your client.
Seriously, just pause and think about that. What if one single perfectly timed question could completely shatter a limiting belief or suddenly light up the path forward for your client? That's the kind of power we're talking about, and that's what we're going to unpack.
Now, these incredible aha moments, they don't just happen by luck. A really effective coaching conversation has a hidden structure, kind of like an architecture. It's a journey you're guiding your client on, and the questions you ask are the signposts that show them the way.
We're going to break this journey down into 3 key phases, and this is all based on the core ideas from the International Coach Federation. So, first, we'll talk about how to set the foundation. Then, we dive into the real heart of it all, creating awareness. And finally, we'll turn all those great insights into reality by designing action.
Okay, so let's start with phase 1. Think of this as creating the perfect space for the conversation to happen. This is where we get super clear on the goal, we build that all-important psychological safety, and we make sure both you and your client are 100% present and ready to go. And look, this isn't just fluff. This is grounded in what the pros do. The ICF points to establishing the agreement, building trust, and creating that coaching presence as absolute must-haves. The questions you ask right here at the beginning, they set the stage for everything that's about to happen.
A question like this is just beautiful because it provides immediate focus. It cuts right through all the mental clutter and gets your client to zero in on what they actually want. It takes them from that vague feeling of being stuck to naming a real, tangible outcome for this one session.
Oh, this is such a brilliant follow-up. Why? Because it moves the client from just talking about a goal to actually experiencing it. How will they feel when they've achieved it? What will actually be different? This question is what turns a fuzzy wish into a sharp, clear target.
All right, so once we've built that solid foundation, we get to move into the most exciting part of the process, creating awareness. This is really the discovery phase of the session. It's where the magic happens and where your client uncovers those powerful, game-changing insights about themselves.
You know what's so interesting here? It's the dance between listening and questioning. Active listening isn't about being quiet, it's about being so tuned in that you know the exact moment to ask that one question that just clicks everything into place. It's really less of a science and more of an art.
The source material for this gives us a whole treasure chest of questions for this phase, each one designed to look at a problem from a slightly different angle. We can't go through them all, but let's pull out a few killer examples that you can use to really open up new perspectives.
A great place to start is often by looking backward. We want our clients to remember how resourceful and strong they already are, so we ask questions that connect them to their own personal history of winning.
This question, it's so simple, but it is pure gold. It immediately shifts the client's brain away from the problem and toward their own proven abilities. They've handled tough stuff before, right? This just reminds them of the skills they already have in their back pocket. It's an instant confidence boost.
So after we've tapped into their past wins, we bring the focus right back to the here and now. The mission here is to get a completely clear, unfiltered view of what's happening right now, without all the drama or stories we tell ourselves.
Oh, I absolutely love this question. So many times, our clients are completely overwhelmed by things they can't change. This question just cuts through all of that noise. It pulls their focus back to their own power, their own choices. It's the pivot point from feeling like a victim to taking ownership.
Okay, now we're getting into the really deep stuff. This is where we use our questions like a flashlight to gently illuminate those invisible walls. The assumptions and beliefs that are secretly holding a client back.
This question is just incredibly powerful because it makes the status quo uncomfortable. It forces the client to look at the real, tangible consequences of staying stuck. And it's not about scaring them. It's about sparking real internal motivation. All of a sudden, doing nothing starts to seem like the riskier option.
And that feeling of urgency flows perfectly into our final phase, designing action. Because let's be honest, an insight without action is just a nice idea. This is where we take those aha moments and forge them into concrete, committed steps forward.
And this drive toward action is totally in line with the ICF competencies. It's all about designing the right actions, making a plan, and, this is key, building in accountability so that plan actually happens.
This is the perfect question to bridge the gap between talking and doing. It asks the client to pull together everything they've just discovered, the goal, their strengths, their new awareness, and create their own roadmap. The ownership is 100% on them. Thinking about the whole giant plan can feel totally overwhelming, right? This question just shrinks the entire thing down to one single doable step. It's all about making it super easy to get started. It builds that first little bit of momentum that is so critical.
Now, this is so important. Accountability isn't about you, the coach, nagging your client. It's about empowering your client to build their own support systems. This question hands the reins over to them and solidifies their commitment to their own success.
So, as we wrap things up, I want you to think of this three-phase process: foundation, awareness, and action as your coaching master key. Really mastering the flow and knowing which questions to ask in each phase, that's what takes you from being a good coach to being a truly transformational one.
It all comes back to this one simple truth. The questions you ask aren't just for gathering information. They literally reshape how your client thinks, they unlock potential they didn't even know they had, and they empower them to build the exact future they want.
So I'll leave you with a question of my own. With this framework in your toolkit, what is the one powerful question you can ask today, in your next coaching session, or maybe even of yourself, that could change everything?